Hey guys, Metalomaniac here, and welcome back to Metalomaniac's Hangout. It's always fun getting yourself hyped up for games by watching trailers and gameplay videos here on YouTube, but back in the day, the way to get hype was through magazines and demo discs. The first demos I played were on the PlayStation, and it was fun getting the magazines every month. Unfortunately, I got rid of all my magazines, but I did manage to track down a bunch of the old demo discs. I picked out a handful of my favourite demos, but it's only fitting that the first one I cover is most likely everyone's first PlayStation demo disc, Demo 1. So Demo 1 came bundled with the consoles, and I'm pretty sure there were different versions over the years with different games on. There was always a good selection of games though, like Crash Bandicoot, Tekken, Wipeout. But for me, Dino Manta was what it was all about. Dino Manta was an interactive tech demo showing off the power of the PlayStation by giving you a couple of 3D models to play with. As a kid, it was a lot of fun playing with the T-Rex. The Lost World Jurassic Park had just come out around about the time I was playing this with a friend, and we spent a fair bit of time messing about with Rex and pretending to make him talk. Great for our little imaginations. We never played with Manta much due to feeling a little less interactive, and we probably found it boring as kids, but over the years I grew on it because of how relaxing it actually is. The animation of the Manta really helps in making it feel you're swimming underwater, and the music is beautiful to listen to. It's a pretty short piece, but it always reminds me of Donkey Kong Country. There were always great demos to find on the official PlayStation magazines, so the rest of this episode is going to be focused on demos that led me into buying the full game. Crime Killer is a futuristic police chase game, and I always used to get it mixed up with Future Cop LAPD, which is totally different. It's got pretty good driving mechanics and physics, and it's really fun to play, but the full game is pretty repetitive. It does come with a little mini soundtrack though. I'm pretty sure there's other vehicles to drive and fly in there, but I've never really played through the full game enough to get that far. I got just as much enjoyment replaying the demo as I did with the full game. Cooler World is an amazing puzzle game, and I've spent plenty hours playing the demo doing the same few levels over and over. The music is pretty repetitive, but you concentrate more on what you're doing than what you're listening to, so it's okay. I've tried looking for the full game, but it's a bit too expensive and somewhat rare. I ended up buying it on the PlayStation Network, so now I can play it on my PlayStation 3, my PSP and my PS Vita too. I'm glad to finally have it, but I would still love the original copy. I don't think I'd ever played a firefighter game before I played Roscoe McQueen. It's got a bit of cheesy voiceovers and one-liners in there, but the voice acting itself is pretty good. It's got good gameplay and it's something different. Something that hasn't been done much since, but I'm pretty sure there's a similar game on Steam at the minute. You put out fires, save civilians, rinse and repeat. It's fun for a while, the full game offers a little bit more, but it is pretty repetitive. The game's not too expensive, but it's not exactly common, so you might have to dig about to find it.
Hello, help!
Hercules is my favourite Disney film, and I loved playing the demo and full game. It's a colourful side-scrolling platformer that uses the depth of level to change things up. I played through quite a bit of the full game, but I don't think I ever finished it. The full game features some pretty good boss fights against characters from the movies like the Titans and Hydra. I remember it being a pretty fun game, so it's one I'm going to have to go back to. I love beat 'em up, so it was great finding that the Fantastic Four demo was a beat 'em up game. It's a fun game, but it doesn't look too great. The graphics are quite dull and uses a kind of claymation style. The gameplay has that same sort of floaty feel to it like Spider-Man by Activision. This game also uses the depth of level too, for secrets and power-ups. I didn't get through much of the full game, but the demo did leave a good impression. Jade Cocoon is pretty similar to Pokemon, which is what really appealed to me back in the day. I absolutely loved the demo, and I got quite far in the full game, but I lost my save file. It takes a good 45 minutes to get to the meat and bones of the full game, and it's not as good as I remember. Like I say, it's similar to Pokemon, but it does have some good mechanics. Strangely, you use an ocarina to capture these minions, but you can crossbreed them, which is something that still isn't in Pokemon. It gives you more of a reason to capture the different types and mix them up. If you want to try it out, I would say try and get a hold of the demo unless you want to sit through an almost hour-long intro and setup. There's a few games that didn't need a demo to try and persuade me into buying the full game, but it was always fun playing the demos for the hype. First up is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The demo for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 had a little competition going to see who could get the best scores. I never could get the best scores back then, but I always tried my best. I tried to get massive combos with the new manual technique, and some of them weren't too bad. I loved the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, so Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was a must-have. And it remains to this day my favourite in the series. Official PlayStation Magazine released a special edition demo just before the release of Tekken 3. I played it with a friend for hours, even though you could only choose Eddie and Xiaoyu. Tekken 2 remains my favourite, but Tekken 3 did improve on a lot, so it was fun playing the demo until the game came out. I loved the original Broken Sword and have since completed it many times. The Broken Sword 2 demo kept me occupied for a long time, and I finished it over and over. I played it so much, I started to try and finish it as fast as I could. You get more enjoyment out of taking your time, interacting with all the different things and talk about all the options. The demo's got that same kind of humour found in the first game, and there's a bit more in the full game of Broken Sword 2. It's a great point and click adventure, which is probably my second favourite in the series, but Broken Sword 5 is pretty mint though. Of all these demos, Discworld 2 is the only one I've yet to track down. It's another point and click adventure like Broken Sword, so I quickly got into it. The voice acting is good and it's got a lot of dark humour. The setting feels very medieval English, around about the time of the plague, and I can imagine there being plenty of work and money to be made in the death business, so it just works well. I'm not much of a reader, and I've never read any of the Discworld books, so I couldn't say if any of these characters are from the novels, or even if Rincewind was in the first Discworld game. Still a game I want to find and add to my collection. It seems to go around for about 20 quid, which seems fair, but again, it's not too common, which is probably why I haven't bought it yet. There's always eBay, I guess. So those were some of my favourite PlayStation 1 demos. Let me know down below what some of your favourite demos were, and not just on PlayStation either. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in Metalomaniacs Hangout.